All right, so welcome to the deep dive. We're diving into something pretty cool today. Your idea for a multiplayer business simulator.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, one that's not just fun, but actually teaches you the ins and outs of running a business, you know?
Yeah.
We've got a ton of sources to dig through, design frameworks, technical stuff, even a plan for building a proof of concept. And honestly, things get really interesting when we start talking about dynamic markets and AI competitors. Like, imagine going head-to-head with an AI that learns from your moves.
Oh, yeah. That's the kind of challenge that keeps you on your toes.
Right. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
This business simulator. It's ambitious. You're aiming to create something that feels real, that captures the complexity of business.
Exactly. It's not just about making a game. It's about building a world that mirrors the real deal.
So what really sets this apart from all those, tycoon games that, let's be honest, kind of get old after a while?
Well, I think it's the depth. The sources we've looked at point to a few key things. First, a dynamic environment. So not just static markets, but markets that fluctuate, driven by AI, changing customer needs, maybe even real-world events.
Like what kind of real-world events?
Think economic shifts, new technologies, even, curveballs like pandemic.
Oh, okay.
The idea is to keep players adapting, thinking on their feet, just like in a real business.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's about keeping things unpredictable.
But won't that be overwhelming for, new players? I mean, throwing a pandemic at someone who's just learning the ropes.
It's a good point. The sources address that. It's not about chaos, it's about challenge.
Okay.
Carefully designed challenges that make you think critically.
Gotcha.
The key is having clear goals, meaningful feedback. Players need to understand what they're working towards, see the impact of their decisions, both good and bad.
Yeah, I guess that's how you learn, right? From your mistakes, seeing the consequences. But let's be real. What really makes business exciting is the competition.
Oh, absolutely.
So how does that play out in this simulator?
Well, the sources suggest exploring different modes. You could have direct competition, players battling it out in the same market.
Okay, classic head-to-head.
Right. Or you could have cooperative modes. Teams working together, maybe building entire companies, then competing against other teams.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It adds a whole new layer of strategy and, social interaction.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not just about making the best decisions, it's about working with others, negotiating.
Yeah.
A lot like the real world.
All right, but with competition, you got to make sure it's fair.
Of course.
No one wants to play a game where someone gets a lucky break at the start and just, steamrolls everyone.
That's the snowballing problem.
Snowballing.
Yeah, it's a common issue in these types of games. A small advantage early on can compound over time and become impossible to overcome.
I see. Like one player gets a hold of a key resource or something.
Exactly. They get ahead, and it just keeps getting harder and harder for others to catch up.
That's not fun.
Right. And that's where careful balancing comes in. It's something the sources really emphasize. You got to design mechanics that prevent snowballing.
So how do you do that?
Well, one solution is dynamic difficulty adjustment.
Okay.
Imagine an AI that's constantly analyzing how everyone is doing. If one player is dominating, it subtly adjusts things to make it more challenging.
Whoa, so the AI is like the referee, keeping things balanced.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
That's pretty cool.
It can also help players who are struggling, give them a little boost.
Huh, so everyone stays in the game.
Exactly. It's about keeping things competitive and engaging for everyone.
Makes sense. But what about matching players with similar skill levels in the first place? Wouldn't that help prevent some of those early advantages?
Oh, absolutely. That's where the matchmaking system comes in.
Okay, so we're not just talking about throwing everyone in a pot together.
No, the sources suggest a more nuanced approach.
Okay, what do they say?
Going beyond just win-loss records, factoring in things like playstyle, risk tolerance, maybe even industry preferences.
Wow, so the matchmaking could actually, analyze how you like to play.
Exactly. You could match aggressive players with other aggressive players.
Oh.
Or those who prefer a slower, more strategic approach.
That's really smart.
It's about creating the most dynamic and fun experience for everyone.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's about personalization.
So we're not just building a game, we're building a personalized business world.
Precisely.
It's pretty awesome.
It is. And we haven't even gotten to the features that will make this simulator truly irresistible.
The stuff that keeps players coming back for more.
Exactly. That's what we'll dive into next.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
So when we talk about irresistible features...
Yeah, the stuff that keeps people hooked.
Right. The sources really stress depth.
Depth.
Like strategic depth, giving players a ton of options, not just the basics.
Okay, so more than just setting prices and making products.
Way more. Think marketing campaigns, product development, supply chain management.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Even things like finance, keeping employees happy.
So like the whole 9 yards of running a business.
Exactly. The more choices players have, the more invested they become.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But how do you make all that fun?
That's where good design comes in.
Yeah, I was going to say too many spreadsheets and I'm out of here.
Right. The sources talk about a clean interface, presenting complex information in a way that's easy to digest.
Okay, so like dashboards and stuff.
Exactly. Visualizations, intuitive controls, maybe even AI assistants that give you insights.
An AI assistant for your business.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
The goal is to make players feel empowered, not overwhelmed.
Yeah, no one wants to feel like they're back in accounting class.
Exactly. It's got to be engaging.
So we've got this deep, engaging simulation, a smart AI, keeping things fair. But we also want people to learn something, right? So how do we make sure they're not just clicking buttons randomly?
That's where we get creative with integrating learning tools.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Imagine real-time feedback that explains why something happened.
So you learn from your mistakes.
Right. Or interactive tutorials that break down complex concepts.
Okay, so you're learning as you play.
Exactly. It's about making the learning part of the fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
we need to talk about that proof of concept.
The V.1 on that.
Right, building a smaller version first to test things out.
The sources outline a 4-week plan for that.
4 weeks. That's pretty quick.
It's about focusing on the core mechanics.
Okay, what would that look like?
A single industry, basic decision-making tools, a simplified market, just enough to validate the gameplay loop.
So like a bare bones version.
Exactly. Get it in front of users, see what works, what doesn't.
Makes sense. What about the tech side of things?
The sources recommend keeping it simple. HTML, CSS, JavaScript for the front end.
Okay, the stuff that makes the game look pretty.
Right. And then Python with a framework like Flask or FastAPI for the back end.
Handling all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. And for data storage, something like SQLite would work.
So tools that are easy to pick up, quick to work with.
That's the idea. Rapid prototyping.
So we build this V21, get it out there. What kind of feedback are we looking for?
The sources highlight 3 key things: engagement, clarity, and excitement.
Okay, break that down for me.
Engagement is how much people are playing, coming back for more. Clarity is whether they understand the game, the goals.
Gotcha.
And excitement is, well, are they having fun? Are they hooked?
Yeah, that's the most important part, right?
Absolutely. If people are excited, you know you're onto something.
So we track those metrics, see how players react. What about those more complex features we talked about?
Like the dynamic difficulty and matchmaking.
Yeah, when do those come in?
Those are things we'd build on later. First, we need to nail the core experience with the V0.1. Then we can layer on the complexity.
So it's a process.
Exactly. Start simple, iterate, refine.
Sounds like a plan.
It is. It's all about building something truly special.
All right, so for our listener, the mastermind behind this simulator.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways here? I think the big thing is, don't be afraid to experiment and iterate.
Oh, absolutely. Iteration is key.
Yeah, building something this complex, it's not going to be perfect on the first try.
Right. It's all about that build, test, learn cycle.
Start small, get feedback, make adjustments. That's how you get to something truly great.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to, try different things.
Yeah, like what?
Different balancing approaches, matchmaking algorithms, ways to teach players.
Push the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah, see what works.
I mean, who knows? Maybe this simulator could actually change how people learn about business.
That would be incredible, wouldn't it?
Yeah, to create something that not only teaches, but also inspires people to, start their own businesses.
To take those skills and apply them in the real world.
Exactly. But okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a sec.
Okay.
For our listener, what's the very next step?
I'd say nail down the scope of that V0.1.
The proof of concept.
Right. What are the absolute essential features?
The bare minimum to test the core idea.
Exactly. Once you've got that, you can start building the team, choosing the tech.
Get those hands dirty.
Yeah. Start making it real.
And as you're building, keep those metrics in mind. Engagement, clarity, excitement.
Those are your guideposts.
If you're hitting those, you're on the right track.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, there's a whole community out there.
Other developers, business folks, educators. People who are passionate about this stuff.
Reach out, connect, collaborate.
It makes the journey a lot more fun.
So that was a pretty deep dive, huh?
It was. We covered a lot.
The core concept, the challenges, the features that'll make it irresistible.
The importance of iteration, starting small, getting feedback.
We even talked about the bigger picture, the potential impact this simulator could have.
It's an inspiring idea.
It is. And now it's up to our listener to take that idea and run with it.
To build something truly special.
So we've given you plenty to think about, but now it's time for action. What feature are you most excited to start building? What's that one thing that's got you itching to dive into the code and bring your vision to life? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, happy building.